All right, bookworms, gather around for today's deep dive.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
We're heading to the charming village of Little Compton,
Oh, I love a good village setting.
right, with Julie Hatcher's Not Quite by the Book.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Now we'll be dissecting a detailed book review.
So it's like our cheat sheet to see if this one's worth the read.
Exactly. By the end, you'll know the plot, the characters,
And all those juicy details.
and those deeper themes that set it apart from your typical romance.
You know what I find really interesting about this review?
What's that?
It goes beyond just like the surface.
Yep.
It really dives into like the author's craft.
Oh, I like that.
Highlighting what makes this book, stand out.
Because, let's be honest, the romance genre can be a bit crowded.
Oh, totally. There's a lot out there.
So let's get to the heart of it.
Okay, let's do it.
The story centers around Clara Bennett.
Clara Bennett, got it.
She's a high-flying literary agent in London.
Oh, so she's living the dream.
Right. But she swaps it all
Wait, really?
for a quieter life running her grandmother's bookshop
A bookshop? How charming.
in Little Compton.
So it's that classic fish out of water setup.
Yeah, but with a twist.
Ooh, I love a good twist.
The review suggests she's not just, trading careers.
It's deeper than that.
She's searching for something more meaningful,
Okay, I'm listening.
a connection to her past,
Interesting.
and maybe a chance to, reinvent herself.
I think a lot of us can relate to that.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
yearning for something more authentic.
Right. Who hasn't daydreamed about escaping to a quaint village?
Oh, totally. Sign me up.
And speaking of quaint,
Yes.
the review makes Little Compton sound utterly irresistible.
Okay, paint me a picture.
Cobblestone streets, rolling countryside,
Sounds idyllic.
a cozy bookshop. I mean,
Stop. It's like a Hallmark movie.
practically begging to be Instagrammed.
Aha, right.
But hold on, it gets even better.
There's more.
Clara stumbles upon a mystery.
Ooh, a mystery. I knew there had to be one.
Hidden letters, secret diaries,
Now we're talking.
long-buried family secrets.
Okay, this is getting good.
Adding a whole other layer to this story.
So we've got Clara adjusting to village life,
Yep.
trying to save the bookshop,
Uh-huh.
and unraveling these secrets. She's a busy woman.
Talk about a busy schedule, right?
She needs a vacation.
But we can't forget about the romance.
Of course not. This is a romantic novel after all.
The review mentioned a slow burn relationship
Okay, I like a good slow burn.
with a local historian named Sam.
Sam the historian, I can already picture him.
What stood out to you about their dynamic?
Well, the reviewer noted that they avoid those predictable romance tropes.
Yes.
You know the ones I'm talking about?
Oh, totally. Been there, done that.
Sam is this quiet, steady character steeped in Little Compton's history.
I can see it.
He's the perfect foil to Clara's more dynamic personality.
Opposites attract,
Their connection seems to build organically.
which frankly is a breath of fresh air.
I agree. So often it feels forced.
You mentioned earlier that the book explores deeper themes.
Right. It's not all just surface level romance.
What resonated with you there?
Well, Clara's journey, it's about more than just finding love or solving a mystery.
There's something more.
She's grappling with her family's legacy, piecing together the past
Oh, wow.
to understand her present.
That's powerful.
It's about memory identity, how the stories we inherit shape who we become.
Wow, you've really got me thinking.
It's deep stuff, right?
And it sounds like that charming village setting plays a role in that exploration, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Especially the bookshop.
Oh, of course.
It becomes a symbol of connection to the past.
Makes sense.
Through it, Clara rediscovers not just her grandmother's story, but her own.
Okay. I'm officially intrigued. I have to know more.
Right.
But we can't forget about the other residents of Little Compton.
Oh, there's more. Spill the tea.
The review mentioned a few standout characters.
Oh, I love a good supporting cast.
They really bring the village to life.
So tell me about some of the personalities we encounter.
Well, there's Clara's mother, for instance.
Okay.
It seems like there's some unresolved tension there.
Ah, a little family drama.
Adding a layer of, complexity.
I like it.
Then there's Mrs. Whitaker,
Mrs. Whitaker.
the quintessential nosy neighbor.
Oh, I know the type.
But surprisingly, she becomes an unexpected ally.
Oh, I love those unexpected friendships.
What about the male characters?
Yeah, are they just there to support Clara's journey?
Or do they have their own depth?
Because let's be real, sometimes they're just window dressing.
That's an important question.
It is.
And based on the review,
Yeah.
it seems they're more than just, background noise.
Okay, good to know.
Sam, as we discussed, is a well-developed character.
Right, he's got his own thing going on.
Even Mr. Patel, who runs the local cafe.
Oh, a cafe owner. I bet he's full of wisdom.
He brings a mix of humor and wisdom to the story,
I like him already.
suggesting a more balanced portrayal of the community.
So it's not just all about Clara.
I appreciate it. It's always refreshing to see well-rounded characters,
Agree.
regardless of gender.
Representation matters.
It sounds like Hatcher has created a really vibrant world,
I'm getting that sense too.
populated by a diverse and interesting cast.
And it's through their interactions,
Yeah,
their stories, their secrets, that
right.
those larger themes of legacy and identity are explored.
All right, so to recap,
Let's do it.
we have a compelling mystery,
Check.
a charming setting,
Double check.
a slow burn romance,
Triple check.
and a cast of characters who sound like real people.
What's not to love?
Right.
But before you add this to your cart,
Okay.
there's one more intriguing detail we need to unpack.
Oh, tell me more.
The structure of the novel itself.
Okay, I'm listening.
The reviewer highlighted this unique dual timeline narrative.
Ooh, now that's interesting.
It adds another layer of complexity to the story.
Now that's what I call leaving us on a cliffhanger.
We'll have to dive into that in part 2.
Stay tuned, folks.
Welcome back to our deep dive into that dual timeline narrative. Remember,
Right before we got sidetracked by all those interesting characters.
we were talking about the structure of the novel.
The dual timeline, right?
Exactly. It's not something you see every day.
Especially in romance.
True. I'm actually really curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Well, I'm always a bit wary of flashbacks, to be honest.
Yeah, I get that.
Sometimes they just feel so clunky.
Right. They can disrupt the show.
But the reviewers seem to really appreciate how it was handled here.
Yes, and it makes total sense given the themes of legacy and memory.
Oh yeah, good point.
Remember, Clara's journey isn't just about her present.
It's about uncovering her family's past, too.
Exactly. So the novel alternates chapters between her present experiences in Little Compton and excerpts from her grandmother's diary.
Oh, so it's not just random flashbacks.
Nope. It's a deliberate weaving of past and present.
I like that, like those braided loaves of bread.
Yes, each strand adding to the richness of the whole.
But did the review give any hints about what those diary entries might hold?
They were pretty tight-lipped on specifics.
Oh, come on.
But they did hint at some painful truths.
Ooh, juicy.
Perhaps even some intergenerational trauma.
Wow, that's heavy stuff.
It is. I find that idea really intriguing, though.
Yeah, how past events can impact future generations.
It adds another layer of depth to the story, don't you think?
Definitely. It's not just about a charming romance anymore.
Right. It's about confronting the weight of history.
Both personal and familial.
And that duality is reflected in the narrative structure itself.
Do you think that was intentional on the author's part?
I'd say it's very likely. Remember we talked about the bookshop?
Yeah, how it symbolizes a connection to the past?
Well, those diary entries are almost like another character. A voice from beyond the grave offering clues and insights.
Okay, now that's a cool way to think about it.
Clara's journey becomes a kind of dialogue with her grandmother,
I love that. A literary conversation across time.
helping Clara and the reader piece together the puzzle of the past.
I'm wondering, though, does the reviewer address whether these flashbacks ever feel intrusive?
Like, if they detract from the present-day story?
Yeah, exactly.
Interestingly, they actually praised Hatcher's handling of the dual timeline,
Oh, good.
saying each flashback enriches the narrative rather than disrupting it.
Okay, that's reassuring.
There's a real synergy between the two timelines.
So the past informs the present in subtle ways.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Okay, good. Because nothing ruins a good story like jarring flashbacks.
Totally agree.
But let's shift gears for a bit and talk about the writing itself.
Okay, sure.
We've discussed themes and structure.
The nuts and bolts.
But what about the actual prose?
Oh, the heart of it all.
Did the review give us a taste of Hatcher's style?
It did. They used words like elegant and accessible,
Interesting.
highlighting a balance between poetic description
Okay.
and straightforward storytelling.
So not too flowery, but not too dry either.
Exactly. They specifically mentioned the dialogue.
Oh, dialogue is so important.
Isn't it? If the characters don't sound like real people, I just can't connect.
Totally agree. Did they give any examples of what makes the dialogue stand out?
Not specific lines, but they did mention witty banter and lighthearted moments.
Oh, I like that.
Providing a nice counterpoint to the heavier themes.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
Exactly. Hatcher has a knack for weaving humor into the narrative.
Keeping it engaging even when exploring those deeper emotional layers.
It's a tough balance to strike.
It really is. So we have a well-structured, story-engaging, dialogue, relatable characters.
Sounds like a winner so far.
What more could you ask for?
Don't forget the evocative setting.
Oh, right, Little Compton.
The reviewer repeatedly praised Hatcher's descriptions,
Making it come alive?
bringing the village to life with sensory details and atmosphere.
It's like you can practically smell the scones baking.
Right. They said it makes you want to book a flight and experience it for yourself.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
So, not quite by the book delivers on multiple levels.
A captivating story, engaging characters, and a setting that transports you.
Couldn't have said it better myself, but before we get carried away planning our trip to Little Compton,
Right.
let's remember our purpose here.
To help our listeners decide if this book is worth their time.
Exactly. What are your gut instincts telling you so far?
Honestly, I'm hooked. I love the blend of romance, mystery, and self-discovery.
It's a good mix.
And that dual timeline narrative has me completely intrigued.
I get it, but you're someone who really appreciates strong writing, too.
I do.
And based on the review, it sounds like Hatcher delivers on that front.
Yeah, but I'm curious about the writing style. We've talked about elegant and accessible.
Right, but what does that actually mean?
Exactly. I'd love to hear more about the specific techniques they noticed.
Like some examples of Hatcher's writing style?
Yeah. Do you think we could delve into that a bit further in the next part?
Absolutely. We can dig deeper into the reviewer's observations.
Awesome.
And maybe even connect them to some broader literary trends.
It's all about finding those hidden gems, right?
Exactly. The elements that make Not Quite by the Book more than just a charming read.
But a truly memorable experience.
Now you're talking.
Okay, so we've explored the plot, the structure. We even took a virtual trip to Little Compton.
Right, the charming village.
But the big question...
One everyone's wondering.
Did the reviewer actually love this book?
Well, remember how we talked about those diary entries?
Yeah, like a voice from the past.
The reviewer's verdict kind of echoed that.
Really?
They said the novel lingers, like a conversation you can't quite shake.
That's high praise?
It is.
So what resonated so strongly with them?
They highlighted the emotional depth,
Okay.
saying it evoked genuine feelings but never felt melodramatic.
That's a good balance.
Right. They also praised Hatcher's characters.
What about them?
They felt real,
Okay.
flawed, ultimately human.
That's what makes a book special, right?
When you connect with the characters.
You feel invested in their journey.
Did any particular character stand out to the reviewer?
Oh, I'm curious to hear this.
Clara's journey of self-discovery was definitely a focal point.
Makes sense.
They described her as intelligent, resourceful,
Uh-huh.
but also vulnerable.
So relatable.
Exactly. They appreciated that Hatcher avoided cliches, presenting a strong female character who's both capable and flawed.
Navigating life's complexities with humor and grace.
That's refreshing.
It is. What about the romance?
Oh, right, Clara and Sam.
We talked about how it avoids those overused tropes.
Did it live up to the hype?
That's the question.
They did call the chemistry electric,
Ooh.
emphasizing that it builds slowly and feels earned.
I like that.
Highlighting their mutual respect and shared experiences.
So it's more than just attraction.
A true partnership.
It sounds like Hatcher really explored the complexities of relationship.
Both romantic and familial.
But did the reviewer mention any areas for improvement?
They did acknowledge a few minor drawbacks.
Okay, like what?
They mentioned some plot points might feel predictable,
Especially in the romance.
especially for seasoned genre readers.
Ah, I could see that.
And remember how we talked about pacing?
Yeah, sometimes it felt a bit slow.
They mentioned that too.
But did they think those slower sections were unnecessary?
Interestingly, they said they contribute to the book's introspective tone,
Hmm,
allowing for reflection and creating that immersive atmosphere.
so it adds to the charm.
Even if some readers might prefer a faster pace.
It's all about personal preference, right?
Yeah, exactly. Some like action, some like contemplation.
You mentioned the reviewer was impressed by Hatcher's writing style.
Right, remember, elegant and accessible.
Yeah, what do they mean by that?
They clarified that Hatcher uses vivid imagery and sensory details,
Okay.
but maintains a clear and engaging narrative voice.
So you're drawn in but not overwhelmed.
They even compared it to a modern-day Jane Austen.
Wow, that's a big compliment.
It is. Did they give any specific examples?
I was just thinking that.
They mentioned the scene where Clara first arrives at the bookshop.
Okay.
Hatcher's description of the musty scent of old books.
I love that smell.
The creaking floorboards, the light filtering through the dusty windows.
Like you're right there with her.
Exactly, you're translated into that space.
Okay, you've convinced me. Not Quite by the Book is going on my to-be-read list.
I think it's safe to say this book has earned a spot on many listeners' lists, too.
It's a captivating blend of romance, mystery, and personal growth.
All wrapped up in Hatcher's beautiful prose.
It reminds us that sometimes the most fulfilling journeys
Take us away from the familiar.
into the unknown.
Just like Clara's escape to Little Compton.
So to all our listeners out there,
What are you waiting for?
crack open Not Quite by the Book
Breathe in that old book smell.
and lose yourself in the magic of a well-told story.
Happy reading, everyone.
We'll catch you on our next deep dive.